We've tried our best. If you could listen closely to the subtle sounds within your body, you might hear that from your own legs. Every morning, they lift your entire body. Every afternoon, they take you for a walk around the neighborhood, through the garden, or around your favorite grocery store. And every night, they're tired, yet they remain silent. So silent, in fact, that many people forget their legs also need nourishment. The heart is loved with heart supplements. The brain is pampered with fish oil and Sudoku. But what about your legs? Often nothing at all, except a pair of soft slippers. And the irony is, it's your legs that determine your freedom. Not your memory, not your blood pressure, but your ability to get up, go outside, and feel, I can still take care of myself. So, if you want to maintain that freedom, there's a very simple thing you can start today. Choose the right vegetables to eat every day, not just because they're green or rich in vitamins, but because each vegetable below will nourish a different part of your legs, from blood vessels, tendons, and nerves to the stamina you feel when climbing each stair. In today's video, we'll explore 5 types of vegetables in increasing order of effectiveness that have been confirmed by clinical and epidemiological studies as beneficial for older adults who want to maintain healthy legs. Some types you might already be familiar with, but the way they work in your body might be entirely new to you. Let's begin. And the first one is a vegetable that not only enhances your meal, but also secretly strengthens the tiny blood vessels in your legs every day. The 5th vegetable is red bell peppers. If you've ever stood in the kitchen cutting a red bell pepper to add color to a salad or saute it with eggs, you probably never thought you were preparing a primer coat for the blood vessels in your feet. A food that seems to only offer aesthetic appeal turns out to be something that quietly protects the foundation of your mobility. Among vitamin C-rich fruits and vegetables, many people immediately think of oranges, mandarins, or tropical fruits. But few know that 100 grains of red bell pepper can contain twice the amount of vitamin C as an orange, without the sharp sour taste or stomach acidity increase of many other fruits. So what makes vitamin C so important for your legs, especially in older adults? The answer lies in the tiny capillaries. After age 60, the minuscule blood vessels reaching your feet, already the longest and farthest from your heart, begin to weaken, stiffen easily, and lose their ability to dilate. This is an indirect cause of many common problems like cold feet, numbness, or even slow wound healing. Vitamin C, besides its familiar role as an antioxidant, is also an essential cofactor for pro-collagen enzymes to function. And collagen, especially type IV collagen, is the key structural component that provides strength and integrity to capillary walls. In other words, without vitamin C, blood vessel walls cannot repair themselves. A study published in PMC conducted an experiment exposing both young and older individuals to a form of acute inflammatory stress. The result? Those who were supplemented with just 2 g of oral vitamin C showed significant recovery in endothelial function, meaning the ability of blood vessels to dilate improved after just a single dose. Furthermore, cell studies show that vitamin C also helps increase collagen IV expression on endothelial cells. This is especially important in older adults, where natural collagen production declines with age. Therefore, supplementing vitamin C from food, like red bell pepper, is not just about simple anti-inflammation, but about supporting the reconstruction of the body's internal nourishment network. You might ask, if vitamin C's role is so important, why is red bell pepper ranked last on this list? Because its effectiveness is foundational, but indirect. Red bell pepper doesn't contain nitrates to immediately dilate blood vessels, nor does it have sulforaphane to deeply inhibit inflammation. But if you want those nutrients to reach the right places, to muscle fibers, to knee joints, to your toes, then blood vessels must be clear and strong. And that's where vitamin C plays a role, like a primer coat, preventing leaks, preventing minor damage, and protecting the entire operational structure. Moreover, unlike high-dose supplements that can easily cause digestive upset, vitamin C from red bell pepper is naturally absorbed by the body, distributed evenly, and doesn't overload the liver or increase oxalates like some synthetic sources. You can consume it daily, lightly stir-fried with olive oil, sliced raw with hummus, or added to a mixed vegetable stir-fry. All are both delicious and nutritious. A small tip: red bell pepper contains the highest amount of vitamin C when raw or very quickly stir-fried for a few minutes. Avoid overcooking, as vitamin C is easily degraded at high temperatures. And if you're still wondering, is just vitamin C enough to make a difference? The answer is, it's not the only weapon, but it's the foundation for other weapons to unleash their power. A bridge is only strong when every brick is solid, and vitamin C in red bell pepper is that first brick. Red bell pepper is like the first layer of foundation, helping your leg blood vessels stay strong to nourish other parts. But if you frequently experience nighttime cramps or feel numbness and fatigue in your legs after sitting for a long time, then a foundation alone isn't enough. The muscles and nerves in your legs need something else: minerals for signal transmission. And that's where Swiss chard, the fourth vegetable, rich in magnesium and potassium, begins to play its role. There's a vegetable that many Americans have seen in the organic produce aisles of supermarkets, with pink, orange, or yellow stems and glossy dark green leaves, but few actively choose to buy. It's often mistaken for being tough, hard to eat with a strong taste, and is usually overlooked in the shopping cart. But few know that Swiss chard, also known as rainbow chard, is a natural mineral shield, especially important for people over 60 who are facing subtle symptoms: cramps in the middle of the night, heart rate sometimes slow, sometimes fast, feeling numb and tired even after sitting for a short while. All of these often don't come from joints or muscles, but from the neuromuscular system not being electrically charged correctly. Swiss chard, when cooked about half a cup, provides nearly 500 milliliters of potassium and 75 milliliters of magnesium, which is over 35% of the recommended daily intake for older adults. These are two indispensable minerals in the nerve transmission system, especially between the brain and muscles. If you imagine your nervous system as electrical wires running from a central circuit board, the brain, to each small light bulb, muscle fibers in your feet, then magnesium and potassium are the electrolytes, helping the electrical current flow steadily without flickering or short-circuiting. When the body lacks magnesium, signals transmitted to muscles can become disrupted. The result is irregular muscle contractions, causing cramps, especially at night when blood circulation slows and the nervous system is in a state of recovery. For older adults, this deficiency is quite common for many reasons: poorer absorption due to aging small intestine, prolonged use of diuretics like thiazides or furosemide, modern diets rich in salt but lacking dark green vegetables. A meta-analysis published in Oxford Academics showed that magnesium supplementation can reduce the frequency and severity of leg cramps, especially in individuals with pre-existing deficiencies. While not a cure-all, magnesium helps restore the stability and lightness of each step. What about potassium? Potassium acts as a counterbalance to sodium in the body. While sodium, salt, tends to retain water and constrict blood vessels, potassium helps dilate blood vessels, stabilize heart rate, and lower diastolic blood pressure. For older adults prone to elevated blood pressure, supplementing potassium from green vegetables is one of the safest ways to support blood vessel regulation without relying entirely on medication. A diet rich in potassium and low in sodium has been shown to improve endothelial function, reduce vascular inflammation, and stabilize consistent muscle contraction rhythms. So why does Swiss chard surpass red bell pepper to rank fourth on this list? Because its effectiveness can be clearly felt by those who are deficient, especially in reducing cramps, easing leg numbness, and alleviating walking fatigue. However, it's also worth noting, if your body already has sufficient magnesium and potassium reserves, eating more Swiss chard won't create a noticeable difference. It adds small benefits for blood pressure and supports the neuromuscular system, but it doesn't provide the feeling noticeably healthier progress like nitrate-rich vegetables. Using Swiss chard isn't complicated. With a little ingenuity, this vegetable can become the perfect base for a light dinner. You can quickly stir-fry it with a little olive oil and garlic. Just 2-3 minutes is enough to soften it, retaining its fresh green color and mild aroma. You can also braise it with white beans and tomatoes in a Mediterranean-style soup, hearty, easy to digest, and rich in fiber and minerals. Another option is to lightly steam it, then toss with mushrooms and balsamic vinegar, creating a light-flavored yet nutritious and digestion-friendly side dish. If you have difficulty finding Swiss chard at your local store, you can absolutely substitute it with other dark green vegetables like kale or amaranth leaves. They all contain comparable levels of magnesium and potassium, two essential minerals that help stabilize the transmission from the nervous system to the muscles. Swiss chard doesn't have to be the main character on your plate, but it's like a small switch that keeps the electrical flow between your brain and legs stable. Without it, nerve signals can sometimes be noisy, leading to feelings of twitching, mild numbness, or muscle stiffness at night. But when the body is adequately supplied, all signals occur more smoothly and gently, and you'll notice those sudden leg cramps start to become less frequent, giving way to a feeling of relaxation and stability every time you lie down. But if you want to go further, not just stop at reducing cramps, but also want to reduce inflammation in the blood vessel lining of your legs, to help blood flow more easily and recover faster after walking or light activity, then the next vegetable is a true anti-rust armor. Broccoli, the third vegetable on the list. As children, many people dislike the taste of broccoli, that dark green, crunchy, slightly pungent umbrella-shaped vegetable. But by this age, perhaps broccoli no longer makes you grimace. And in fact, if you could see deep inside each blood vessel in your legs, you might instinctively put broccoli on your plate every day, as if wrapping yourself in a protective armor. Broccoli isn't just a vegetable, it's a mini chemical station. When eaten raw or lightly steamed, a special reaction occurs in broccoli. The compound glucoraphanin in the vegetable meets the enzyme myrosinase and creates a powerful bioactive compound called sulforaphane. This substance has been extensively studied for over 20 years for its anti-inflammatory, endothelial protective, and even cancer preventative effects. But within the context of your legs, sulforaphane has a quiet but important role, reducing inflammation within blood vessels and helping increase blood vessel dilation, especially the small vessels that carry blood down to your calves and feet. As you pass age 60, subtle inflammation in the body, also known as inflammaging, begins to affect the entire circulatory system. The vascular endothelium, the thin layer of cells lining the inside of blood vessels, becomes sensitive and easily damaged. And from there, a chain reaction begins. Adhesion molecules like VCAM1 and ICAM1 increase, making blood flow more difficult, leading to the accumulation of factors that cause atherosclerosis, stiffening of blood vessel walls, and reduced elasticity. Sulforaphane has been shown to intervene in that vicious cycle. It activates a biological factor called NRF2, a master switch capable of turning on the body's internal detoxification and antioxidant enzyme system. As a result, anti-inflammatory substances are produced directly within the blood vessels, soothing the endothelial surface, reducing adhesion molecules, and helping blood flow more smoothly. Have you ever wondered why your calves often ache after walking, even if it's just a stroll around the yard, or that tight feeling in your lower legs when standing in the kitchen for too long? It might not be due to age or weak muscles, but because blood flow to your legs is encountering obstacles. Think about it. How long has it been since you ate a proper plate of steamed broccoli? In simulated experiments on human arteries and small intervention studies in at-risk cardiovascular groups, sulforaphane has been recorded as significantly improving vasodilation, a vital factor for the ability to distribute blood to the legs. This is especially important in older adults, where lower extremity arteries are often the most susceptible to fibrosis and blockages. Unlike large vessels, the vessels in the lower legs are smaller, longer, and farther from the heart. Any blockage or chronic inflammation here can easily cause leg fatigue, calf pain when walking, or a feeling of coldness even with warm socks. Sulforaphane, thanks to its endothelial anti-inflammatory effect, is one of the nutrients that can help counteract that condition, though subtly, slowly, but sustainably. However, it's also important to clarify, currently, there are no long-term RCTs, randomized controlled trials, directly measuring the effectiveness of broccoli or sulforaphane on leg muscle strength, meaning we don't have eyewitness evidence that eating broccoli every day will help you walk longer or climb stairs more strongly. But the biological evidence at the endothelial and microscopic level is quite robust, enough for broccoli to rank above Swiss chard in terms of lower limb circulatory protection. In terms of application, broccoli will be most effective when lightly steamed or eaten raw. Steaming for 3 to 4 minutes is the ideal way to retain the enzyme myrosinase without destroying the sulfur-containing compounds. How do you usually cook broccoli? Do you cook it until it's mushy, then sprinkle a little salt? Next time, try steaming it lightly. It preserves both the flavor and the golden key that helps your blood vessels become supple again. If cooked too thoroughly, sulforaphane will not be produced, and the blood vessel protective effect will be significantly reduced. A small tip. If you want to cook it thoroughly for taste, add a few slices of radish or young mustard greens after cooking, because they also contain enzymes that help activate sulforaphane in the cooked dish. Compared to the previous two vegetables, broccoli doesn't immediately impact muscle strength or motor nerves, but it creates an ideal environment for the recovery and nourishment of muscle cells. It's like an anti-rust coating inside a pipe, preventing the pipeline from eroding over time. For legs that have to be active every day, it's a valuable protective layer that few pay attention to. But the most interesting part is still ahead. If broccoli is the anti-rust coating, then spinach will be the small pump, helping to widen blood vessels, accelerate blood flow, and deliver oxygen directly to active muscle fibers. It's a common and easy-to-prepare vegetable, but few know it can help you walk faster, step more steadily, and significantly reduce leg fatigue when standing for long periods. Let's explore that in the next section. If broccoli is the silent armor protecting your blood vessel lining, then spinach, or kale, as some call it, is what directly pushes blood where it's needed. You might have heard that spinach is good for your blood, but few realize that just a handful of this soft green vegetable can increase circulation speed all the way to the muscle bundles in your calves, thanks to a fascinating biological mechanism related to something called nitric oxide, or NO for short. In the human body, nitric oxide acts as an opening signal for blood vessels. When there's enough NO, blood vessel walls relax, blood flows more easily, blood pressure drops, and most importantly, oxygen and nutrients reach working muscles, especially the small muscles in the lower extremities, which are often less perfused than upper body areas due to their distance from the heart. The problem is, after age 60, the body's ability to produce NO naturally begins to decline. And that's why spinach, one of the leading natural sources of inorganic nitrate, becomes especially valuable. The inorganic nitrate in spinach doesn't work directly. When you eat spinach, nitrate is absorbed, then meets beneficial bacteria in your oral cavity, where it's converted into nitrite. After entering the bloodstream, nitrite continues to transform into NO, the crucial active compound that helps widen blood vessel lumens, lower pressure, and increase blood supply to muscles. A 12-year study, tracking over 3,800 individuals over 48 years old, showed that those with a diet rich in nitrate-containing leafy greens, equivalent to 1 cup of spinach daily, had 11% higher leg muscle strength and walked 4% faster compared to the group that ate less nitrate-rich vegetables. These aren't small numbers if you consider that each percentage point can be the difference between walking comfortably and having to lean on a wall to move. Do you remember the last time you walked without your legs getting tired? Sometimes we think our legs are out of strength, but in reality, It's just that the muscles aren't receiving enough blood and oxygen, and in those moments, just a handful of spinach a day can make an unexpected difference. Furthermore, a short-term RCT, randomized controlled intervention study, also showed that drinking spinach extract can improve exercise performance in middle-aged men, meaning it not only impacts circulation, but also clearly supports exercise effectiveness. This is especially significant for older adults as lower limb muscle strength gradually declines with age, increasing the risk of falls and loss of independence. Another big plus for spinach is its highly flexible application in daily meals. You can eat it raw in salads, blend it into a morning smoothie, or lightly saute it with garlic and olive oil, as long as you don't overcook it, because nitrate is easily lost at very high temperatures or with prolonged cooking. How do you prefer to eat spinach, lightly sautéed in a salad or blended into a smoothie? Whichever way, as long as the vegetable remains fresh, the nitrate will remain intact, and the effectiveness will also remain. Some people like to boil spinach, but a better way is to quickly steam it for a few minutes or blanch it briefly to retain the full nitrate content. So why is spinach, despite clear epidemiological and intervention evidence, still only ranked second and not first? Because compared to the next vegetable, spinach is still an indirect solution. It supports circulation, increases oxygen, and helps muscles work better. But it doesn't directly improve real-world exercise performance like walking farther or climbing stairs faster. Spinach is like a booster pump. When used regularly, it helps blood flow smoothly to your legs, but the results still require time and a combination with other factors like exercise and sufficient sleep. However, if you're looking for a vegetable that isn't too unusual, easy to find, easy to prepare, and has a clear effect in supporting stronger legs day by day, spinach absolutely deserves a place in your daily menu. Not too much, just regularly. A small handful on your lunch plate, a little in your scrambled eggs, or added to your morning smoothie, all can make a difference after a few weeks. By now, you've gone through the sturdy foundations, from protecting blood vessels, stabilizing neuromuscular function, to increasing circulation with nitric oxide. But there's one more thing. A purple vegetable, often overlooked due to its slightly earthy taste, but it's an auxiliary engine that has been clinically tested. It not only improves blood pressure, but also helps you walk farther, climb stairs with less fatigue, and recover muscles better after activity. Let's meet the final and strongest character on this list, beetroot. Beetroot, or simply beets, isn't a vegetable that people fall in love with at first sight. Its strong, earthy smell, slightly strange sweet taste, and deep purple color sometimes make those unfamiliar with it hesitant. But behind that somewhat quirky exterior is a powerful biological machine, clearly verified by modern science, not just in the lab, but in real life too. Like spinach, beetroot is a natural source of inorganic nitrate. But what makes beetroot different is that the nitrate density per gram is 2 to 3 times higher than leafy green vegetables. If spinach is a small pump that helps increase circulation, then beetroot is a supercharged engine. It can push blood all the way to the lower limb muscle fibers with greater power and a more noticeable effect, especially in practical activities like walking or climbing stairs. Many older adults have shared that, even though they eat healthy and stay active daily, the feeling of leg fatigue when walking far persists. They assume it's a sign of aging, unavoidable. But in reality, studies on real people have shown beetroot can change that. In a clinical study conducted on patients with peripheral artery disease, PAD, drinking 120 ml of beetroot juice daily for 12 weeks significantly increased the walking distance in a 6-minute walk test. Not just numbers on paper. Participants also improved oxygen saturation in the soleus muscle, the muscle that plays a key role in balance and walking. Even mitochondrial function, the farm energy factory of muscle cells, worked better. You might be wondering, I don't have blood vessel disease, I just feel my legs are weaker than before. Can beetroot help? The answer is yes. Many other RCTs, randomized controlled trials, on healthy older adults also show positive results. Systolic blood pressure decreased by an average of 5 to 7 mmHg, stair climbing speed improved, and muscle fatigue after exercise was also reduced. In terms of mechanism, nitrate from beetroot also follows the nitric oxide conversion pathway, just like spinach. However, because of its higher nitrate content, the biological effect is stronger. Additionally, beetroot also contains beta-lane, a group of purple-red antioxidants, which has the ability to reduce chronic inflammation and support the protection of small blood vessel walls. So how should beetroot be consumed for optimal effect? The simplest and most common way is to drink the juice, about half a cup, 120 ml, daily. You can drink it straight if you can tolerate the slightly earthy taste, or dilute it with water, apple, or ginger juice to make it more palatable. If you don't like drinking it, you can steam beets and slice them to eat with roasted dishes, salads, or mash them with potatoes as a side dish. However, there are two small but very important notes. First, if you have diabetes, you should dilute beetroot juice or only consume it 1 to 2 times a week, as the natural sugar content in beets can cause a temporary rise in blood sugar. Second, after drinking beetroot juice, you should rinse your mouth with plain water. Nitrate is converted by oral bacteria, and rinsing with antibacterial mouthwash will negate the effect. Conversely, not rinsing your mouth after drinking can discolor tooth enamel over time, so plain water is a balanced solution. By now you're probably asking, which type should I choose? Should I drink juice every day, or are spinach and broccoli enough? Actually, you don't have to choose just one. Each vegetable on this list has its own role. First is red bell pepper, not just for aesthetics, but to protect the tiny capillary network that carries blood to each toe, each muscle fiber. The vitamin C in bell peppers won't make you walk farther overnight, but it's a solid foundation for other substances to work effectively. Next is Swiss chard, a seemingly overlooked vegetable, but it's an electrolyte shield that helps signals from the brain to muscles transmit smoothly. If you've ever experienced cramps or tight calves at night, then just supplementing with magnesium and potassium from green vegetables like Swiss chard, the difference might come faster than you think. Then there's broccoli, a powerful biological vegetable. Not too much, no grand claims needed, but the sulforaphane in broccoli acts like an armor coating on blood vessels, reducing endothelial inflammation, preventing the rusting process that occurs within the circulatory system as you age. And then there's spinach, not just a vegetable, but the body's small pump, helping to widen blood vessels, increase circulation, and provide more oxygen to the lower limb muscle bundles. A cup of spinach a day might not make you younger, but it can make each step lighter, more stable, something very valuable as you pass age 60. Finally, there's beetroot, the true auxiliary engine for those who want to go further. Not a metaphor, but real evidence, walking farther, climbing stairs with less fatigue, and recovering better after exercise, all clinically proven with just 120 ml of juice daily. When put together, these 5 vegetables aren't miracle cures for all ailments, but they act as a multi-layered shield, quietly protecting your legs from within. The first layer supports blood vessels, keeping the flow clear. The second layer strengthens the nervous system, helping signals from the brain to muscles always transmit clearly, without interruption. The third layer reduces subtle inflammation, opening the pathway for blood to nourish muscles and joints. And the final layer is the foundation for each steady step, each effortless stand, each movement no longer hindered by fatigue. You don't need to eat all 5 types every day. Just flexibly vary them. Today beets, tomorrow spinach, another day add a little Swiss chard or red bell pepper. Your body will automatically know how to select and absorb what's needed. The important thing isn't complexity, but rather, you are willing to give your body a chance, from things that seem simplest, like a plate of the right vegetables prepared correctly at the right time. Your body needs nourishment. How long has it been since you tried something new for your legs? Sometimes, big changes in life begin with seemingly very small things. A deep purple beet, a handful of fresh green spinach, a red bell pepper that we often only use for decoration. Many people still say to each other, "At this age, what more can you ask for?" But the truth is, we don't need to ask for anything big, just to keep what we have and make it a little better day by day. Like ensuring your legs can step outside every morning without needing a cane, like going to the market on your own, walking around the garden, or simply getting up from a chair without anyone's help. Which vegetable impressed you the most in today's video? Was it beetroot because you tried drinking it and clearly felt your legs less tired? Or was it spinach because you already have it in your morning eggs? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content on health, nutrition, and small tips to help older adults live more actively and steadily every day.